Hello, welcome to the Full Frame with Mark and Ben. I'm Mark. Ben's not here. With this video, I was in Yorkshire whilst Ben was in Sweden. You can watch Ben's Sweden video here. I'd highly recommend you watch it, it's very good. But this video, I was working in Yorkshire and particularly Haworth in Yorkshire. I'd had my eye on Haworth because of a guy called Dave Zdanowicz who takes a lot of photos in York and Yorkshire in general, but in particular he takes a lot of photos in this town called Haworth, which actually has quite a lot of history to it, but I'll go into that later in the video. But his photos, I think, are fantastic. His photos, especially of Haworth and York, I love. That's why we went to York. You can watch the York video there. But there was a particular hotel called the Black Bull Hotel. He's taken a lot of photos of around there throughout different times of the year, different times of the day. So as I was working in the area, I booked into that hotel, and that's where I started my walk around Haworth, taking photos. Start off with, I was shooting on Kodak Gold on my Rollie, so shooting 120 on Kodak Gold, and I walked down the road to the railway station where they filmed the film The Railway Children, which came out in 1970, which is famous for this scene.
Daddy, my daddy!
But also famous for Bernard Cribbins, who you may know from...
You must be one of them aliens.
Yeah, but don't shout it out. Nice to meet you properly, Wilf.
An alien hand.
So when I went up onto that platform, it was open, but the railway, it's like a steam railway centre, it was actually shut. So I just asked a guy who was, I think, working there. He may have been working there, he may have just been stood there. But I said, is it all right if I go on? He said yes. So I went onto the platform. Not really sure if I was entirely allowed on or not, but I did get to take a few photos, which was good. It would have been cool to have some steam trains going past, but I did check the train times, and I was quite late for that. As I was walking around, there was these washing lines between the front of houses, and normally you obviously get them in the back gardens of houses, but there was a lot of these washing lines across the front of houses, from one front to another front. And I thought that was really interesting, so I tried to get a few photos of that. And I think this second one in particular, with the clothes swinging and the palette there, does it justice. sort of walked around aimlessly and then I ended up walking up this massive hill out of the town. And luckily I saw this old abandoned house, which I thought was quite interesting. And as I went further up as well, I saw these chickens, which I included in the podcast from last month. And I quickly just snapped that quite quickly because I wasn't sure if anyone was going to come out and see me taking photos of their chickens and be angry or anything. But I quickly just took my photo, and I think it came out really, really well. I was really happy with that photo in particular. Noticed this so far, but I tried my best to avoid cars and people. I don't think there's any people in the photos I've taken, and this started off sort of subconsciously because I wanted to concentrate on the architecture, which Dave Zdanowicz does really well in Haworth. There's like very little cars, very little people in his photos around the towns of Yorkshire that he shoots in. I kind of had that in my mind when I wanted to shoot these photos. But there was this one car that I saw as I was on my way back down the hill where I thought, yeah, that kind of deserves me taking a photo of. But there's like 0 cars, 0 people in these photos. Although there were quite a lot of people walking around, I did wait a little bit until there was like no people in the shot, or like trying to frame the shot so there was no car or maybe like a tiny little bit of a car in the shot. Because I just think it's sort of, this place feels kind of lost in time. It's like it's of a time of 100 years ago, 120 years ago, whatever. So you don't really want to see a Peugeot 206 in the corner. As it was getting dark, I walked back through the town and out the other side toward, I was aiming for the Bronte waterfall, which was apparently, I'm reading this, inspired for the setting of Wuthering Heights, the 1847 Emily Bronte novel. But it was like a 4-mile walk and then 4 miles back, so it was getting very dark by this point. I just got to this reservoir, which was the Lower Leith Reservoir. Back to the hotel, I finally had a chance to look out my window, and as views go, this was a pretty good view. So thank you, Dave, for the inspiration. I've had Haworth on my list for a few years now. I mark stuff on my Google Maps, so if I'm working in that area, I try and stay in an area where I think, oh, I'll get some good photos there in the evening. And that was really cool. So Dave, thank you again for the inspiration. Just looking at my photos of the area, I'm really pleased with the photos I took in general. I particularly think the choice of film stock, I got it bang on, I think, in terms of Kodak Gold, was great for this weather. So the light was perfect for Kodak Gold, and also Portra 160. It's quite similar to Kodak Gold, but obviously a better, like less grain, etc., etc. So also a pretty perfect choice for this light and this setting as well. I'm pretty pleased with the photos I took. I think it was a good decision to not include people or cars. I think if I'd included too many cars or people, it would have taken away from the setting. So if you're in London or something like that, the people kind of become part of the setting because it's always busy. So it was nice to walk around a town that's like stuck in the 1800s. And great to get photos of it as well. And as I say, I only had one photo with a car in it and no photos with people in. And I think that was a good choice to do that. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment if you're able, and we'll be back next week with more interesting and sexy adventures on film. Goodbye.